Hi, I'm Alejandro.
I'm Rori. We are part of Aravajo Homestead. We are in the hills of Ensenada. We live on an off-grid ranch here with our 4 children.
Hey, Jen Max, you just met Rori and Alejandro, and we're here on their homestead, and we are going to go give you a tour of the homestead, see what it's like living off-grid here in the hills outside Ensenada. I'd say we're probably 45 minutes from downtown Ensenada, and quite a drive on a dirt road, and an extra drive if you get lost like I did. But I found it after a bit, so we're here now, and we're going to get that tour and hear, as I said, what it's like living here. And so I'm Brighton from Almost Retired in Mexico. And if you're looking to move to Mexico, that's what I provide on this channel, is information about moving and stories of people who've done it, so you can see what's the right answer for you. So let's get the kind of where I like to start the story, which is the story right before they moved to Mexico and with the move to Mexico.
We live in Santa Cruz, conventional, paying rent, working. And at that time, we discovered the gardening. We got some planting in the house. We have a pretty nice outside, so we discovered over there all the agriculture, planting your food yourself, kind of eat it, and that's kind of start the little itchiness, like this is cool, So then COVID came, and then of course economy went down on our house and all that. So I got a few months or a year before I got hit on my bicycle. I got struck, and I got some money from it. So that money we use it for when the COVID came. So we decided to get the RV. It's got out the house, his dad has a land on Gualala up north on Mendocino County. Let's go to my dad lands for a year. We plan it, we save money, and then we flew to Mexico. And like, oh, that sounds cool, like a kind of like a dotted, go back to Mexico. No, I'm cool over here, but let's go. So we start the journey. Wayne got the RV. We get ready in 2 months, about 2 months, less than that. We got to fix it. We get rebuilt. We don't need it. And then we got a trailer. We went out Washington with a friend of ours. And then after 3 weeks, we decided to move over. It was really hard to park in Washington on the RV till we find a really good place for Vancouver. So if somebody can check it, it's a really nice place. So from there, we decide to make a kind of road trip in the little inside states from the United States. So we went down to all the way to Arizona, right? And then went back to Santa Cruz. The time we went back to Santa Cruz, so then we were for a week kind of like moving back and forth in the RV. And it was really hard. Santa Cruz is a city which is really hot on RVs, and it's painful. So we finally, a friend of Rori's, her mom friends, she was living in a little town. So she talked with the landlord. She has a space, and then she talked with him, and he let us stay in that place for 1 year over there. We came to the place. He asked us, okay, tell me what is the deal? What are you guys planning? And we say, we just wanna stay for 1 year, saving money, and then we wanna go back. We're going to Mexico. He got really excited. He got really supportive when you guys going back to Mexico? Yeah. He got really support about it. Like, yeah, you can stay. If the neighbors don't say nothing, I don't know anything he say. So I was like, dude, woo, so we came with family. We have 3 kids at that time. So people look at us, and we were really nice. We got jobs on that place, and we saved money. And then after 1 year, we just got all the stuff, and boom, we drove back to Mexico. It was really hard in the beginning, but we're here.
Okay, so now let's figure out, once they've crossed into Mexico, how did they end up here? Because this is not somewhere that, you would just drive by. So how did we end up on this homestead, on this property?
For starters, when we first crossed the border, Alejandro's from Tecate, which is a border town, and his sister and his whole family was there with open arms. And she said, park the RV, and she lived in an Infonavit, so it's like kind of like a housing project, which had a parking lot. So we parked the RV in a parking lot, and we had a week to kind of see what's our next step. So her daughter was actually living on a ranch in a school bus. They said, come park the RV out there so you can go look at properties and, you know, go do all that, because it can be an ordeal. So after a week in Tecate, we went to the outskirts of Tijuana to like it was a really pretty ranch with a view, if you can call the smog in Tijuana view. But we parked the RV there, and it was such a great blessing because she has kids our kids' age. So it was a really good transition, since our kids were still finding their footing in a new country. You know, they grew up with their father speaking Spanish, but you know, it's another thing to live in the country where they speak it. So they got to play with I guess they would be their sobrinos, their nieces and nephews. During that time, our niece would watch the kids so we can go make appointments. So we found the ranch through Facebook. A lot of people here in Mexico use Facebook for business and such. So we would just go on like Ensenada rentals and sales properties, and we would just look on different groups on Facebook. So actually Alejandro had already seen these people, this real estate opportunity, and I had seen it separately. We had both seen it separately. And I saw in the ad, I saw a picture of an oak, and I said, that's the one. That's because I'm a mountain person. I know Baja's known for like beach, but I knew I wanted to live in the mountains, and I felt that homesteading could be easier in the mountains. And I thought it could be a little cheaper. The property could be a little cheaper than high demand beach property. So I saw that. We messaged him. I had Alejandro message him because I didn't want the gringo prices. So we met up with him, and he thought we wanted to see one of his beach properties. He was about to take us over there. And then we said, no, we want the one with the oak. So he said, oh, okay, great. I'm over here close to it. So we met him at the Soriana at the bottom of the hill, and then he hopped in our car and he came and showed us this area, and we just fell in love right away. He's actually the nephew of a guy around here who bought a bunch of lots, like how many years ago? Like 20 years ago. That kind of helped us to see it wasn't a scam, because we said, okay, this is a family thing. I mean, there could be family scamming, and then Alejandro, just like, he's from here, so he can kind of like sense like the idea of prices, just people's vibes, you know. So, and then the guy has a whole business, like he has a whole website, so that really helped us know that it wasn't a scam. And yeah, and we found this property. What we liked about it was the view. We saw that it was close to a pozo, so we saw it was close to a well. They had told us it was a community well, so they kind of fudged that little. It's not a community well. So, but most of the people who drill out here do find water, so that's really exciting. We're close to a bunch of oaks. So yeah, that was he let us stay here a while we cleared it, and then we went to the US to get cash. Luckily, I am able to cross to go do that, so I was able to do that. And yeah, and we just feel so blessed to be here. It's a half acre. It was raw land, so when we got here, there was no amenities. There was no, obviously, electricity. There was no water. Like I said, no one had drilled a well. And we just went to town with Alejandro's dad and his stepmom, and we just cleared the land ourselves and took it from there.
Okay, well, let's look at what took it from there turned into. And these guys do have a YouTube channel too, so if you want to follow them and see a lot more than you'll be able to see in this video, there'll be a link down below to their YouTube channel. But let's hear about the property. What's going on here?
First of all, we build this shade because this property we don't have too many trees, so we were needing of a shade, so we built this really quick. So
this is where we had breakfast this morning with the kids. So it's interesting. It's just, you know, they live in the RV. They'll tell you everything. But this was the breakfast spot this morning. Very good breakfast, by the way.
So also we live in an RV. That's the RV we got from the US. We brought it over here. It's a beast. It's really cool to drive it also. I miss those days. We have our house. We got a garden coming. That's a project number 1. And our chickens too. We have a chicken coop. And then bat house, and the rest is just developing land area, just planning. Trampoline for our kids. And it's a 2,000 square property over here. Meters. So 2,000 square meters. Yeah, so which is a really good size for us in the beginning. I think it was really big. One time we clear up, I stand from corner to corner, and I say it was a really good property. So that's what it happens. We have a 10 mother-in-law stay sometimes, and just for people to come over here too if they want to use it. And then so yeah, we just working on the garden mostly. And
we just built a farm stand / store. So we sell stuff to people around here since we're so far from town. And I was going to town every day to drop the kids off. Our kids are in public school in town. So we had requests from people, and I said, well, why don't I turn this into something, because we could use the gas money to get to town. So we built a store / farm stand out of adobe, so out of cob and pallets, and just repurposed items from jobs that Alejandro did that his boss gave to him. And so the chicken coop and the farm stand are made out of cob. The chicken coop is totally pure cob, except for the concrete floor. And that was a really exciting accomplishment. So yeah, those two structures. And then the outhouse, I wanted to give props to Alejandro because he and a friend of ours down the road dug the pooper hole by hand with buckets, shovels. We sent the kids down there a couple times since they're tiny, and they grabbed buckets of sand. And it's how many feet? Like,
no, it's not. I wanted to do it more, but my dad came really in a rush and he covered it. So,
he covered it.
So
I was impressed.
Yeah, so I want to go more.
Yeah, and our plan is to do compost toilet in the future. And our big plan is to build a house, but poco a poco, as they say. And yeah, we just feel so blessed to be here though.
I'm just trying to experiment with all sources of same land, like a cob, rocks, branches, everything really provided for the land. I guess it's the best thing. The budget, it's one of the things too, but it also, like I said, it helps the land, it helps the earth, and it helps my pocket doing this way, So, and it really, I'm not a builder. My dad is a builder, but I have all the notions all good. And like when you build something and something out of freaking nothing, like it just you will see doors and things I've been building, and it feels so good when you see all that, saying like, well, this came from scrap, so it's really good. We're trying to do that all the time. I'm trying to do that. It feels really good. Like I say, it feels really good. See one piece of, like, you think that's trash, or it's like already gone to trash, and like, no, I save it, and then put it, like, see it over there, like, see, I told you that was work.
Yes, that's a very kind of Mexican attitude, is everything will have a secondary purpose. So very common in Latin America to have that attitude. I don't see any solar panels here, but the kids mentioned something about a TV. So let's hear about kind of those amenities here.
We're learning as we go. Solar panels are a whole experience, especially me. I'm not very engineer minded at all. So what we're learning is what's important is to have a sine wave inverter. So in the beginning, we had a cheap little inverter and we upgraded. So that's one thing with a certain amount of voltage. So ours is 2,000 watts, I believe, which is working out good. And the most important thing is to have batteries, to have enough batteries to hold the actual solar power. So we only have 2 right now. It's big on our list to get more so that can hold that power. But so far it's good. We unplug the fridge at night, and we don't have a fridge in our little store. We just use ice and a cooler. But when we first moved here, for the whole year, we didn't have a fridge during hot summer. So it's funny when you come from nothing and when you start from nothing, it's funny how the littlest things just like make all the difference and make you feel so grateful. So
what it happens, like, we came with the solar panel system already. We set it up on top of the RV. The RV has their own, but we have an extra one. And I set it up on top of the RV because it was the only place. And the winds came. I didn't expect it. The winds, they were so strong over here.
And a wind.
So they came and blew off our solar panels. And it was in the middle of the night, and I just hear. So I woke up really fast, and I already saw the solar panel hanging. And what happened was one of them, it got the wires cut off, So then it's 6 solar panels, 100 watts each one. So I said, well, one it's like nothing. So it did a lot, the difference. So the converter it has in it got burned because it was pulling more energy than the one it needed. And then there was a Christmas time, so I have the idea, a great idea to put Christmas lights on it, and it just totally broke down. The original came with the kit. So then after that, my brother is kind of like electric guy, so he helped me to fix the solar panel. We got another converter, and then we made it work. At this point, the batteries they got wasted because they were not working how it is. So then that's a problem right now. So we have 2 batteries, and they were kind of charging. So in the night we don't have power. Like that's what Rori was saying. We have to, like, as soon as the sun go down, we have to plug the big thing, the fridge. I don't know. We left the internet running. That's the main thing, internet, and sometimes TV for the kids and all kinds of stuff. Also, we have 2 generators. We have one from the RV, and then another one solar. So we don't suffer for lights. We don't suffer too much. We can see on the night. It's mostly like big power. So, but it's working so good.
And I am connected to their Starlink here, so it is great. You know, say what you want about Elon Musk. I would have something to say about him. However, Starlink is very nice to be able to get internet pretty much anywhere you want it. So if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out. But next up, we're going to get some tips from these guys. So first, we're going to get a tip from Alejandro. So let's hear his tip.
I really want to say something really important. If you're planning to come back to Mexico, and mostly like in my case, I have no papers. I'm a totally 100% Mexican citizen. So what it happens, I didn't know that this rule have changed because I did it before. Like I did in 2007. I dropped a car with American plates from the US to Baja with no problem, right? But then this time I encounter myself that's a problem now. So if you come in deporting yourself and you are Mexican or have papers from the US, and you're driving a car with US plates, they want to take you off the car. So please be alert with that. If you're planning to go back in Mexico, no papers, please don't drive a car because they want to take it off on the border. So make sure just that happens with us. They wanted to take off the RV, and we saved that because that was in Rori's name. And we really save it. So that's a really hard part right now. People's been doing it, and this is the problem being content. I have already 2 people who I know, and then the car got removed on the border for that reason. So please be alert with that.
Yeah, I feel like our introduction to Mexico wasn't as smooth and fairy tale like as I would have liked it to be Instagram worthy. We didn't know that you had to disconnect anything. If a motorhome's pulling anything, you have to disconnect it and drive it one by one. That was kind of a slap in the face, and I did have to drive, since Alejandro couldn't, he was the one driving the motorhome originally, since he couldn't go back into the US, he self-deported.
Yeah.
He self-deported. And once you're in Mexico, you're in there as a Mexican citizen. So they looked at me and they said, hey, you got to drive this bad boy, and you have to drive it and disconnect it and come back one by one. And so I feel like that situation really taught me a lot about myself, and taught me a lot about just Mexican culture of just echándole ganas. Like, you got to do it. It sucks, but it's, in the end, you can make it an adventure, and you have to get through it somehow. So you can either complain about it, which I used to be good at doing. I still am kind of good at doing, but you can either complain about it, or you can just get through it and be really proud of yourself at the end. So I drove it up to Tecate. We drove it through the windy hills of Tecate. I took my oldest son with me, and then we unhooked it I YouTubed how to unhook a freaking truck off a motorhome. So I unhooked it and left the truck, and then drove the motorhome, and then walked across the border and drove the truck across. And I just felt so proud about it after, and I said, well, we're here in Mexico, we made it, and yeah, life is good.
I was a whole week, 2 weeks to finally cross because, like I say, we crossed the first time. I got myself out, but the cars they needed to go back. So we got a mistake. They need to go back, and that was a whole 2 weeks to cross all 3 vehicles. Wow. So when the last one was the truck, when the truck came out, it was just feel like so relief. It feels relief, and it feels like the slap in the face too. That we're here, we're here, we're here. So it was hard.
So now let's get a tip from Rori on the idea of becoming a homesteader in Mexico.
The last piece of utilities that I need to mention is about our water. So water has been one of our biggest struggles. I was used to living a life of just opening the faucet and water comes out. So here we don't have a well. So we've had to haul in water. So we have these tanks, you've probably seen them around Mexico, and the square ones. And we keep one in the back of our truck. And then in the beginning, we were going to neighbor's property. They so kindly gave us water, and sometimes we pay for it. And then we use a gasoline powered water pump, and that extracts the water from the well and puts it into our water tank. And then when we come back to the ranch, we use the pump again and put it into another empty tank. So it's kind of a 3-tank process. And it's really hard. It teaches you a lot about gratitude, about where our water comes from, why they have the saying water is life. Like it really is, because we use water so much, especially in our permaculture garden. We're really excited because we just purchased a property next to ours. It's about 12 acres. And yeah, that one has a well, unlike this one. And so we've been extracting water from there. And the goal is to get a better system of water, a better flowing system of water. But for now, this is working good. And like I said, it's taught us so much about systems of water.
Probably another tip I would say, if you planning to get up outside of off-grid, probably we were planning something what we did, planning to get the water first, discover with the water, and invest on water first. Before that's why something our neighbors did, and it worked really good for them. So that's I would start if you're planning to do something like this. Get your water first, and then water is life. So you got everything over there.
Something I'm still learning for myself is embracing the concept of poco a poco. I think just coming from an American background, we're so used to and I didn't even come from a rich background. I grew up lower middle class, working class, and but we have this idea of things get done same day, and if it doesn't happen, it's the end of the world. So I think here I really love that there's this idea of imperfection and things not happening super fast, because the beauty is in the doing, the beauty's in the journey. So I think if you homestead here, don't beat yourself up if things don't happen super fast. I know a lot of homeowners probably already know that just things don't happen fast, and that's okay, because we're having fun in the meantime, we're learning about ourselves, and we're really enjoying the adventure. So poco a poco.
Poco a poco. I love that. That is a reality for everything in Mexico. So if you're going to be changing over your electric bill, if you live in town, do it poco a poco. Little by little, you get a little bit further each day. So I think that is a great message to wrap up the video on. And actually the breeze is kicking up a little bit, so we might be getting a little bit of noise on the microphone. If you want to watch other videos with other foreigners who are living in Mexico, check those out up here. Otherwise, something perfect just for you that YouTube has found just for you. From outside Ensenada, wish you were here. Hasta luego.